Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mama Genius Hub podcast. Wow, do I have something in store for you today? Because we're going to be talking about how to be a happier mom. Sometimes we're stuck in our own thing, but then what the whole podcast is about, getting into your genius. Stephanie Rose is here to help us with that. Let's get right into it today. And why do I always forget to get the video ready? But you're used to that by now. Welcome to Mama Genius Hub podcast, where we support moms with big dreams, from entrepreneurship to personal aspirations. I'm your host, Michelle DeKeyser, and I'm here to help you unlock your potential in all areas of life. Join us as we explore strategies for thriving in motherhood while pursuing the dreams, the key to actually unlocking your genius. Subscribe now and embark on a journey to realize your fullest potential. When we're back, Stephanie Rose empowers women to remember their magic through knowing themselves better and a life that lights them up through mindset shifts. God, that's a tongue twister. Easy to try tips and giving themselves the permission they all think that they need to change their lives. Again, a lot of times we think that we need that, but we're here to say that you don't need it, but here we'll still give it to you anyways. I'm adding that part in. She shares ways to find time to do more with what you love and reframe the ways your life on her blog, firescout.com, and Instagram and LinkedIn at Firescout. Firefly, oh my gosh, fireflyscout.com and Firefly. We're just going to be tongue-tied today. That's okay, because it's almost the holidays, but you'll be watching this after the holidays. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hi, Michelle.
And I was telling everyone that I love the hearts and the fly behind it. And I was thinking about her Firefly as we get into this. And just thank you so much she jumped in today. I was just like, I loved how she put this. I appreciate that you're trying to give your future self something to thank your present self about, because I was like, let's try to get one podcast more in this week. And Stephanie just jumped right in. And I think that's, as moms, sometimes we need to do that and really just give ourselves some grace, but also just one more in there to get so that you get that break at the end. Anyway, so welcome to the podcast, Stephanie. A long way of saying that.
It's so good to be here live with you.
I know we're making her do live, so we're getting her out of her comfort zone today too as well. So you know what? That's what we're all about. Is sometimes we just need to jump a little bit out of our comfort zone as moms, as we're trying to figure out what is it inside of us that we need to unlock. So Stephanie, I'm just going to start by asking, what is your why behind wanting to help moms figure this out and become a little bit happier?
I really feel that I know that when we know ourselves better, then we can put that genius to work and the world will become a better place. So when we truly know what that is and we start to align our actions and our beliefs and ourself, like the self-efficacy, then we find flow, and all of those combined together are what make you glow. And that's your life force energy that you bring to the world.
I love that. And I love the word glow, how you use that to just the symbolic of all of that and really find that inner self from you that really just does glow out of you. Now, is there anything in your own personal life that really started this shift for you, or where you were at that made some sort of shift in yourself?
I'd say my journey really woke up around the time that my youngest was 1, and I was literally getting more sleep. So that was I was taking better care of myself, and I started getting curious about well, what's next? Because I had the job, I had the husband, I had the house, I had the 2 kids. What was next? And I really wanted to come back to myself, because well, who am I now? I'm still all these other versions of myself, but what does this version of myself look like? So I started just following my curiosity and trying to answer the question, who am I? And that led to some journaling work through the Artist's Way. And that was a whole new way of getting my thoughts out, because it's stream of consciousness journaling. And that was just so freeing to have all that mental energy and thoughts, give it a place to go and land on the page. So then I could take a breath and actually do something with the space that I had in my head then, because it helps you mentally, emotionally, physically, it gives you so much more than just the act of writing. It frees up bandwidth in your whole body.
I swear the universe just keeps hitting me on the head with whoever my guest is at the moment. Because this morning I was sitting there with my journal and I got maybe a paragraph down and I was just like, I can't even like imagine. I'm curious. So then my curiosity now is leading to what do you mean by the stream of unconsciousness, or I don't know if I've actually heard the artistic way in terms of journaling. So I don't know if there's something, a specific technique with that, or what you could elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, The Artist's Way is a book by Julia Cameron, and it's a 12-week creative exploration of yourself to really connect with your inner artist. But I'd say like we're all creative in whatever shape or way or form. So even if you don't consider yourself an artist, like we still have that creative energy and sense of expression that we need to have an outlet for. And so she really promotes that. And so it's something that she encourages you to do with a accountability group, just to keep you going. Like, you know that accountability helps, but also when you like share and talk just like how the week went for you, then other people might see things that you didn't see when you're sharing about your experience. So that's what mine was like. It was all online with women I wasn't familiar with before then, but it was enough to like kind of kickstart that like doing something of showing up for myself in a consistent way.
Oh, I love that so much. And I think that's so true of a lot of times. And I love that you said it was a group of women online that you didn't really know before. And a lot of people I know maybe listening to us, part of why I even started virtual community for moms is we don't think that we can get to know people virtually or really do it. But I think honestly, virtual has really opened the doors for these kind of conversations, because it might be harder with your in-person friends or people that may or may not be on that track right now. But when you go into a group like this, where you already know everyone has made this choice to do this, whether it's the artist's way, whether it's Mama Genius, whatever it is, people have already chosen for themselves. And now you're with people who have already made this choice versus like, do you think this person would want to do it? And then you're stifled by all that. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, like when you are acting on a choice that you're making and you put yourself around people who have also made similar choices, you're getting to bring a freer identity of yourself to that space. So like it's the truer version of the transformation that you're after in that moment. And it can be really freeing to be around people who don't really know you, but who all believe in the journey that you're on together. I have like a lot of like alone together energy in me. Like I like, so it worked for me. Like it's something I'm doing for myself, but there are other people like really with me energetically, on it. And making relationships online is incredibly powerful. Like my accountability partner who I met through a business program 4 years ago, we're still meeting. I've never met her in person, but we talk on Zoom every week.
I have many people like that too right now. And I think it really has, I know COVID even opened the door more, even though we look at COVID like sometimes as a really, but it really did open up that door. Now there is a fine line now between that figuring out which ones you want to do in person versus, but I would not throw that virtual out at all. I know sometimes we went a little overboard with it or people got tired of it, but it doesn't mean that certain parts of your growth can, like, that actually opens so many more doors that I didn't even know possible. We'll talk more about going into your genius right after this. Attention mompreneurs. Do you feel like you're constantly juggling the responsibilities without a moment to yourself? It's time to pause and reflect with our Mama Genius quiz. Tailored for busy mamas like you, this quiz will help you identify what's blocking your path and inspire you to harness your unique strengths. Transform how you manage life and business, find your rhythm, and ignite your joy. Visit mamageniushub.com today to discover your Mama Genius. And that's mamageniushub.com. Now, I was looking so forward to this conversation because we both go into the concept of genius and do. But I want to just kind of open the door to how you help to unlock that, or where you start with it, to give other people other perspectives, because again, what works for one person might not work for another. So I'd love for you just to take it from there.
Yeah, I'm fairly sensitive to noticing where like some people really promote like this is the way to do something because it worked for me. And so you have to follow it exactly to get the results that I got. And like we are all unique individuals, and we have different strengths and conditioning and like all these experiences that shape who we are. So like I really believe in putting it more in like a system or a framework, and then explaining the intent of what you're trying to do. And an example of like, hey, I found it through journaling because this is why. And so, really encourage you to like try journaling. But if the point is like to get your thoughts out, to get them out of your head, to give them a place to land, then, maybe there's other ways to do it. And maybe it would help reveal the resistance you have to it based on what other people have told you or what you believe about yourself, or what other people might think of you when you do them. So it's important to really listen to like advice other people give, but really listen to your own heart and intuition as to what is meant for you, and follow those nudges over following a prescribed plan from someone else.
I love that so much, because that's what everything here, what we are so on the same wavelength in terms of like, I want to present different ideas to people, but I'm always telling you, if that idea doesn't sit with you, move on. But ones that do all of a sudden hit you right here in the heart, or the gut or intuition, those are the ones. Use that curiosity to explore those ones. But like, as you were saying, like, journaling isn't quite your thing. I mean, there's women's circles. There's other ways to get your voice out and to get that heard. The key is which one, when you're hearing these ideas, seem to sit with you. And then those are the ones I would actually recommend you going through. Not everything that's said here, but the ones that just, I could do that. That sounds interesting. That's your intuition speaking to you in a way. But so on that note, since we preface all that, I'd love for you to go through what is a framework that you offer, that you start with.
Well, I created a framework based on like my personal journey of being curious about myself. So it was really getting to know myself and naming what it is that I value, that I love, that I would love to change or shift, where I'd like to go, dreams I've had in the past, and have they changed or evolved, or were they stepping stones to believe in something else? So, I mean, my journey really started with like creating a lot of lists. And so like that can be like writing it out in the journal part, or just making actual lists. And then I captured all of that and put it into my illumination kit, which is a set of guidebooks to really help you get to know yourself, which in essence is to know your glow, to really know what lights you up, and to start to see the frictions that are in your life and where you could find more ease, and ultimately like be happier with all of that.
Can you break that down a little bit further for us, like in terms of, does glow like have representation, or do you have what is your structure that you start to
to help really get a sense of their glow without going through that deep dive, I created a tool that's called a glow map. And so it helps you create an intuitive map about who you are across 9 different facets that you may feel in your life. So like your sense of belonging, your sense of expression, your sense of safety and security, and using some intuitive questions to help you like literally like draw that out. So like sometimes we have a hard time putting things into words. And so this is a tool to really help you connect like your head to your heart through your hand, and literally like just drawing lines to really give you a sense of it. And it seems so simple, but that's what the best tools are. Like, so if you can like ponder a question intuitively, like just like write out like how much glow do I feel on this, like where is my like level. So it's not like there's like a max or a minimum level, but just like how do you feel across it? And then to go even deeper, you ask yourself the same questions across the different identities that you hold, because we're not only moms, we're children ourselves, like adult children. We are spouses. We are like random people on the internet to people. We are like people in our community. Like we have all these other roles. And so being able to notice like how that sense of identity fulfills your glow across, like becomes like a depth of matrix for you. So when you have that greater sense of self from an intuitive place, you can start to notice where your glow needs some support. And then you can give that to yourself. And it can help you like notice a name where maybe you couldn't have put a finger on it before.
I love it so much. And I was rewriting this down, right? The sense of glow in sense of your intuitiveness, because I think so much of who we are, like we've kind of let society put these pressures and things on, and almost like this like fortress in front of our own intuition. Like we got to listen to what this person's telling us, what that's telling us, and then like there's like this whole block that we've now set up in front of us, and now we have to like kind of break through so we can actually have a conversation with our own intuition and actually believe ourselves. So I love that you're putting this together to really bring that glow out, because that's really, I feel the same way, as that's where it really comes from the genius, from the inside, when you're really in who you are and having fun with it. And I love that you said it's so the best tools are simple. Our brain and society is saying, if it's not hard, you haven't done it right? But it's true. But when we're in our genius, it's flowing, it's simple, it's fun. But we're so used to like it having to be complicated and hard. How do you help to remove some of those I almost want to call them limiting beliefs at the moment, of like how it has to be hard and complicated?
Well, it's getting back to know, like, if you want ease and flow in your life, that comes through more ease. Like, you don't do it the hard way to get what you want. Like, one thing I notice is like, if you're doing something and it's kind of like the spirit that you're doing it in, and if you're doing it through effort and hard work and like pushing through, then you may not be as satisfied with the outcome because you have depleted so much of yourself to get there that you can't, like, you don't really enjoy it when you're on that other side, and you didn't really like how you got there, so that it makes you feel like to do it again or to keep going, it's going to continue to be hard. But if you can find ways to find flow and ease, it doesn't mean that it is easy. It just means you have found like the smoother way to get through it, and you're not like cutting yourself up along the way. Like, you're just like being able to like navigate the curves a little bit better, and you can find flow and you're not getting tripped up as you go.
So let's take that idea of flow and kind of apply it a little bit more to motherhood, because we titled this and we're looking at how to be a happier mom. Like, how do moms get so much thrown at them every day? How do we help kind of combat, I don't even want to use the word combat, that's, again, language is so important, but how do we help, when those things are thrown out, how do we help keep in the flow even when things are being put in front of us?
Well, I mean, it does come down to knowing yourself better, but like to start, like, pick something that like you have to do each day, or as part of your routine, but you really don't like doing or really drains you. So like, what can you do to make it more easeful? So like, packing lunches is a pain for us sometimes. Like, it always is. Like, well, what can you do to make that more easeful? Well, one thing, like the other day, like I couldn't find a water bottle. Like, well, and my husband has cleaned us out to like one water bottle each per child. I'm like, well, okay, that makes sense from simplicity's sake. That's easy. That does make it easy, but that puts a lot of pressure on me to like keep track of that one water bottle when we need it. So like, something I caught myself in the moment of like, hey, because there's a spare around here somewhere. I'm like, I need to grab that spare water bottle and either know where it is or put it up in our cupboard, so that in the moment, in the morning, when I'm like trying to get out the door, like I don't have to be frantic trying to find the one thing that I have to get the kids out the door. Like, that would be a way to like add some ease that makes it a little bit less stressful for you. So like, notice your friction points, notice parts of your day that are kind of like, that kind of rub you the wrong way, like literally. And what can you do to fix that?
I love that so much. I think when we were talking about vacations and stuff, one of the things my kids always did when we took road trips, they fought over what movie was next. Because we have the set of DVDs. So literally we were going on I think actually might have been last Christmas because we were driving to Florida, or it was one of the road trips we were doing. And I literally took all the movies and I had each of them put them in an order, like let them each pick one ahead of time. And like, okay, this is a movie. And you know what's funny is I haven't even followed up with that since I mentioned that. It was either the podcast or a live or something. And when we came back to it, they've actually watched less movies because they weren't sure they wanted the next movie that was in there. And so they look at the window or using their two packs, and they actually like, I think we were in the car over 100 hours and watched 3 or 4 movies the entire time. Some of it was, overnight sleeping and stuff, but still, like, because we did that, they didn't want to watch the next movie in there.
Yeah, like that's the way like it put more flow in, and probably ultimately got you to the goal of like, I'd really like it if they didn't watch movies the entire trip, right? Like it kind of was a 2-for-1 bonus that you couldn't have it totally anticipated.
I didn't even realize that would have been a side effect of it. I was just like, I was tired of the arguing of what movie we were watching next. I wanted that out of the car. We have enough arguing besides that.
Yeah, and like how that took like maybe you did have to think of the idea as a solution to try it and be willing, like, hey, if it doesn't work, I wasted 5 minutes. But man, like you anticipated that friction, you did something about it to try, and then you got some amazing results from it. So like it's that curiosity that doing, but you have to have capacity to think and to do those things. And that's where the glow map can help you understand like where your capacity is at for all the things that we have to do.
I love that so much. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Do you ever feel like your own dreams are fading on you as you focus and keep everything together for your family? Or been buried under laundry and school runs and endless to-do lists? They're so deep, you don't even know what they are anymore. The Mama Genius Hub is here to help you uncover that part of you again. Maybe you felt that pull to start a passion project, return to a hobby you once loved, or pursue a career that lights you up, but you're so caught in everyone else's needs that you keep slipping through the cracks. In just 15 minutes a day, our mini courses will help you reconnect with those dreams while finding a new rhythm in motherhood's beautiful, messy life. And best of all, you'll be doing it with a community of moms who truly understand the juggle and the joy. The Mama Genius Hub is a community who've been there and are here to support and inspire each other every step of the way. It's time to rediscover your spark, live in your genius, and inspire your kids by showing them how to follow their own passions. Join the Mama Genius Hub today and start creating space for you again without guilt for doing it solo.
Come to www.connectingmamas.com for more details.
So we're going to ask our final question for you today, Stephanie. What is, this is perfect for you. What is a common misconception about motherhood that you think holds many moms back from living into their own genius?
I think it's a misconception that like it has to be hard and depleting, and that you have to give everything of yourself to do it. Like you like put yourself last. And that's more of like a subconscious thing. That's the caregiver energy in ourselves.
Yeah.
And I know that people often say like you have to like put your own mask on first and like to do it, but like you really have to believe that. You have to believe in your worth, and you have to believe that that is truly the start of the process, is that you taking care of yourself, or at least nurturing your own basic needs, will, one, it sets an example for everyone in your household. It gives you the capacity to do more with ease, which I think is everyone's goal. And you will be a happier person because your full sense of self is like replenished. And that's what makes you glow. That's what like puts that energy out into the world, and the right things come to you.
I love that so much. And I just kind of wanted to piggyback off that of saying that every parent wants their kids to be happy, right? And so at some point, your parents had that wish for you as well. And if we keep stopping our dreams, I'm pointing this out almost every podcast. If we start stopping our own dreams as mom, who is ever going to live out their dreams? Because then as your daughters start to become mothers? Are they supposed to give up their dreams as well? We need to stop that and living in our own genius so we can inspire them to figure out theirs. So on that note, tell us about your free gift for everyone and how people can get a hold of you.
Yeah, my free gift is the Glow Map. It is a mini course where it'll teach you all about the 9 facets of your glow so you can start to name and recognize them in your life. And it gives you the map so you can start intuitively creating your glow map and give you some direction on where to focus that beautiful genius energy next.
I love that so much. So I want everyone to go ahead and download their glow map. And I know, give everyone just one more time your Instagram and your website just so they can have it handy.
Yep, I'm at fireflyscout.com and on Instagram at fireflyscout.
And we'll see you in just a minute after our 5 takeaways. Thanks, Stephanie. So wasn't that amazing? We're really talking about how to get into your own happiness, which is first by number 1, knowing yourself a little bit more, your beliefs, finding that glow, as Stephanie puts it, finding your genius inside you, as I put it. But again, it's that same idea of combining that to figure out what is it that makes you alive in this. And for her, she had started this process of journaling and learning more about herself through that, which also led us into our takeaway number 2, which is really talking about those virtual communities of finding, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's a hub, maybe it's whatever you say yes to, of working with people who've already said yes to that as well. I loved how Stephanie said it makes you freer, gives you more, your identity is already in a space to be truer and freer because you've already said yes to this. It's already part of your transformation. Then you're working with other people who've already said yes to, rather than trying to find people who may or may not be on that same path as you. And then that leads us to number 3, is when we're looking at frameworks or ideas that other people give us, again, it's coming back to that intuition, is what is your intent for what you're trying to move forward? And looking at other people's frameworks or things, but coming back to, is that the one that's going to serve you? Am I putting resistance up to it? Where is my heart intuition and what's going to lead me forward? Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's going to Women's Circle. Maybe it's something different, but it's really going and asking yourself, what do I need right now to get these thoughts out of my head? And that leads us directly into number 4, which is know your glow and what lights you up, right? Stephanie's giving us the aspect of getting the goal. You could go get her glow map as well to start identifying across the different 9 facets she speaks of, but also it really is just about drawing that out of you and setting that intuition and intention that you have. And then how do you apply that to the different identities that you do have? Talked about being a mom, being a stranger on the internet, right? All those different identities that we do. How do we merge that together to figure out how we want to push ourselves forward? Which leads us into our last takeaway, is really about that ease and flow. Where does it come from? We have to remove the idea that it necessarily has to be so hard and difficult, but more that how can we bring it together and release that we have to push for. Because I love how she put it, when you have the intention or where you're pushing so hard, even when you do reach that goal, you might not even enjoy it because you feel so depleted at the end of it. Or you look back and go, what the heck did I do to achieve this? I'm not even enjoying and don't appreciate. You don't even like who you were to actually achieve that. So something to keep in mind is maybe just asking the question, what can I do to make it more easeful? And I'll bring Stephanie right back up. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining us today. I'd love to hear your final takeaway.
I just want people to, at the heart of it, just be curious about who you are and find a way to make a note of little things that light you up. If it's a list in your phone, like I use index cards to quickly get my things out because I need to see it written down, but that's me. I need to have the paper to feel organized. Just get it out of your head and into a list or something you can go back and reference so that you can really start to get a better picture of who you really are and what lights you up.
I love that so much, and I agree completely. It was really about asking that question, opening up your reticular activating system, because now you've opened up the question. Like I said, find a spot to write it down, find a spot putting pictures on your board, whatever you want to do to start identifying the things that just all of a sudden, you notice yourself smiling. What just made you smile? And start keeping note of it. Thank you so much for joining us today, Stephanie. Thank you for helping us figure out how we can just do little small things to become the happier moms and really set the example for our kids. And we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in today's episode of the Mama Genius Hub podcast. If you found value in our conversation, please share this episode with another mama who might benefit. Sharing helps us build a supportive community and reach out to more mamas like you. After all, it's more fun when we do motherhood together. Until next time, stay motivated and continue to pursue your dreams as you shine in your genius.